Welcome back. Marty Markowitz, Brooklyn Borough president, is known for being something of a cheerleader for his beloved borough. Nothing wrong with that. It's a borough which, till not that long ago, was considered Manhattan's grittier little brother. But with more swanky restaurants, hotels, young hipsters, think you know what I'm talking about, all flooding into Kings County, gentrification is changing the face of Brooklyn, and in a big way. And our own Dominic Carter, he spoke with Mr. Markowitz about all that and more earlier today. And he also talked about in the downtown area, going to have a major change here with Jay-Z, among others, making the Brooklyn Nets have a new home.
That's right, Richard, and we can tell you that with the Barclays Center opening up, Brooklyn really has something of its own to cheer about. The new Barclays Arena. You were one of the early supporters. There was a lot of opposition, but you persevered, Borough President. The project persevered. Now there's a new, beautiful arena. Do you feel vindication?
Well, let me first say that it was my idea for Brooklyn to have a national sports team again. And the only one that would have remotely had an interest was Bruce Ratner and Forest City Ratner, that had demonstrated their commitment to Brooklyn's commercial success in terms of building office buildings in the borough. And it wasn't an easy road. When I first picked up the phone and called Bruce and said, Bruce, I think the Brooklyn Nets, the New Jersey Nets, would be primed for Brooklyn. And he said to me, Marty, I don't build arenas, and I don't build residential housing, and I don't buy teams. In fact, I'm barely into sports. And I said to Bruce, I'm not into sports either, but having a national sports team in Brooklyn would be unbelievably beneficial. And you get a chance only once 100 years, if you're lucky, for a major city to attract a national sports team. I predict the Brooklyn Nets will become one of the most celebrated teams in the NBA or of any sport. The competition between Brooklyn and Manhattan will be intense, every bit as much as it was between those dreaded New York Yankees and our glorious Brooklyn Dodgers. Who knows? Maybe the Brooklyn Nets will do something the Knicks haven't done in 40 years. Bring home an NBA championship to Brooklyn and to New York.
Jay-Z is going to be having some opening concerts.
Yeah, right. He'll have 8.
Are you guys tight?
Well, I wish I was tight, but I've met him on a couple of occasions, and he's a gentleman, and he's a great success story. He came, like me, by the way. I grew up in public housing, too.
He grew up not far in the project.
Absolutely. Marcy and Bed-Stuy, and going through the challenges he had as a younger person to today, to become not only an icon in the world of music, but to be such a brilliant businessman. And to have the luck to marry such a beautiful, talented woman like Beyonce. And I told him if I had met her before him, I would have been a competitor. He doesn't take me seriously, but I'm telling you. But whatever, he's a great success. And Brooklyn is proud of him. And his handprint is all over the style of this arena, the coloring, the colors of the Nets uniform, the logo, everything is really Jay-Z inspired, and we're proud of him.
What's the difference now with this new arena compared to Brooklyn, let's say 20 years ago? Was it urban blight?
Well, there's no question that that section of Atlantic Avenue was blighted. Drugs prevailed, crime, prostitution, and we're talking not last year or 2 years ago, but we are talking, and equally it was an empty, open, disgusting pit separating Prospect Heights from Fort Greene, and it was empty for over 100 and some odd years as a rail yards, not being used for anything. And this arena and the project that will eventually happen over the course of time with housing, affordable housing, will seam together the neighborhoods of Fort Greene and Prospect Heights. It'll create the jobs and the excitement.
You're being watched across several states as we speak. Tell the residents of these different states, at least 5 here, something about Brooklyn that they don't already know.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll say. Brooklyn today is America tomorrow. And you would be surprised, whatever the states that are watching this interview, you wouldn't believe what we have in Brooklyn. From conservative-leaning public to very liberal. From the largest, among the largest lesbian and gay populations to among the largest Hasidic Jewish, from the largest African American and Caribbean American, one of the largest Latin, largest Turkish, large Greek, Italian American, Irish American, Jewish American, Chinese, one of the third largest Chinese community in America, and the stroller derby capital of New York, yuppies, buppies, hipsters, millennials. And you know what? It's a mix here of everything that America is.
You gotta love Marty. When I said he was getting wound up, he really was getting wound up. Good stuff, Dom. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us.